Hello and welcome to this pick a card reading where I am channeling an uplifting message from your ancestors. So for those who are new here, my name is Ash. I'm the owner of Magic Touch Botanica. I am a healer and intuitive guide who channels messages on this channel, talks about my own healing journey. I offer services and I also offer products and classes through my Patreon and through my website at magictouchbotanica.com. So welcome. So today I'm really just channeling an uplifting message from your ancestors. I have been wanting to do this video for like the past week, but life, was lifing. And this morning, if you're not new here, but for those who are new here, I do so much of my meditation in the shower. And this morning when I was doing my meditation, I just was getting so many downloads and just messages from my own guides being like, you need to come on your camera and do this reading because this is a reading that the collective needs to hear. So you'll see that my nails are not fully done. So don't judge it, okay? I didn't have time. Literally, I just felt this urgency that I need to get this message out. So we have four piles today. Their first pile is this clear quartz. The second pile is amethyst. The third pile is this blue kyanite. And the fourth pile, I forget what this stone is called. I think it's serpentine, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll write it on there. Kind of looks like a turtle shell. So as always, I'm going to give a minute for y'all to close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and just see which pile you feel the most pull towards. So at this time, I'm going to play meditation music. Use that time to just get in tune and see which pile you feel your ancestors is going to be speaking through. Hey pile 1, so before we jump into your reading, I first just want to start us off by grounding ourselves in the fact that, readings online are general. And really, in any type of reading that you see online, any type of reading where it's like channeling for a large group of people, I want you to ground yourself in that readings are always going to reveal the things that you already know, and that it's really here to uplift you. So if something does not resonate, if something does not feel good, you do not need to claim it. Really use your discernment at this time to really decipher what's for you and what's not. So again, this reading is about uplifting you. It's about giving you an uplifting message directly from your ancestors. So I'm using oracle cards today, and I already pulled them, but I haven't really looked at them. But the first card I want to talk about is this card. So I pulled this card really just channeling, who am I communicating with today? What is the energy that I'm picking up on? And while I was shuffling, it felt like a very powerful ancestor. It felt like someone who has already had multiple lifetimes, who's elevated, who's seen it all, who's done it all, and who's really standing beside you to guide you and to empower you. Even right now as I'm saying this, what I'm picking up on is I'm here to empower you. I'm here for you to feel certain and confident in whatever choices you make. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to do any of that. They really are standing beside you no matter the choice you make. I'm even feeling some humor, like they're humorous. Even though they're elevated, they're trying to remind me we're not all that serious, and that, they really just want to love on you and have your back. So That's the general message that I'm feeling. Now with this card, devas or divas, I don't know how you pronounce it, but this is a highly evolved nature spirit, and it being relation to your ancestors. What I'm picking up on is just that same message of like, this is an ancestor that you don't even know the name of, that, you know, has been you're a descendant of, and they were human a long ass time ago, and through their own spiritual journey they have elevated and now are able to come to you, are able to guide you, are able to protect you through whatever you're going through. I definitely feel like with this pile, like, yeah, I just feel like there has been stuff coming up for y'all, because even as I'm sitting right now, I'm just hearing of like, I haven't left you, we're not leaving you. You know, even when things are hard, we're still here. So let's pull your psychic. This is the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. Okay, so you have heart chakra, you have material harvest, and you have obstacles and challenges. Yeah, this is telling me that I feel like y'all have been struggling a little bit with your money. Y'all have been struggling just with your money. Stability is what I'm hearing. And again, it's coming back to the message of, we have not left you, we're not abandoning you. With the heart chakra, what I'm hearing, and I've been hearing this message for the past 2 weeks, which is why I felt so pulled, like I need to do a pick a card reading about your ancestors, is because I keep hearing this message of remember who you are. And when I'm looking at this heart chakra card, I'm just seeing this like going into your heart to almost like extract the truth of who you are at your core. You know, the heart is the core. The heart, you know, I'm into astrology, and even when I think about our sun sign and the sun sign being our life force energy, our core of who we are, it's also the heart of a chart. It's the heart of you, what motivates you. And so for y'all, it's like, remember who you came from, remember who you are. And even those of you who like may have been adopted or have ancestors that may have been that were enslaved people, or ancestors that were indigenous and like the history was stolen and stripped away, they're like, the history and the knowledge of their power and their resilience lives inside you. And you need to remember that you're a resilient being. You come from a long line of resilient people, and that no matter the obstacles, we're here right beside you. And if you only remember, you will be able to almost like channel their strength and channel their wisdom so you can get through it. That's what I'm hearing. It's having that, like, whenever you're feeling those obstacles, whenever you're feeling alone, it's just coming back to the fact of, who are you? Remember who you are. I'm getting this like Simba in my head, like, remember who you are. So it's remembering, coming back to you. Yeah, like that's the general message. Like, they're here with you. And if you've been struggling with money, they're trying to work behind the scenes. They've been working behind the scenes. They've also been trying to give you signs about what to do. I'm also picking up right now that, like, I don't know, I feel like y'all have, I don't know if it's like the whole collective in pile one or if it's just a specific person, but I definitely am picking up on the fact that I think some of y'all have been, you know, struggling financially. Some of y'all are looking for work, and I think that y'all are having to make a hard choice about taking maybe a job, going on a career path of something that you really weren't trying to do, like maybe taking pay that was not what you really wanted, or taking a job that is not in alignment with what you see yourself in the future. If you keep getting the sign of like, just take it, just remember it's temporary, like, I think one of y'all definitely needs to hear of, like, you know, if you've been seeing persistently like what you wanted is just not working, you can't, like, you're trying to force it and it's just not coming out to be what you wanted to be. They're saying, like, I've been trying to show you to just take this job for temporarily, so that we can get the ball rolling in the background. They don't want you to worry financially, and yeah, I think some of y'all are being a little bit stubborn, but have been receiving signs about the same thing. But just because it's not a part of your vision doesn't mean that it's not a part of the vision. You know what I mean? Like, just because, right, like, let's say, I don't know, you keep being told, like, you need to just be a barista at Starbucks. Like, it's not going to be high pay or whatever, but it's just temporary so that you can get the things in the background together. I'm just hearing that, like, we don't want you to worry about money. What we want you to worry about is your big goals. And you have to have a willingness to just do things temporarily to get you to where you need to be. They're like, worrying about money is really blocking your creative energy, is really blocking your self-belief. And that you taking whatever temporary job you need to take it's not evidence of your goals and dreams not coming true. It's temporary. That's just what I keep hearing, that the struggle is temporary and they're here for you. So I'm gonna pull one card. This is from the Universe Has Your Back deck, and it says, I witness the darkness and call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. 100%. Like, I feel like again, like, I just keep feeling like maybe there's some temporary situation you have to go through, and instead of really focusing on the fact that this is not what you wanted, this is not what you saw yourself having, it's grounding yourself back to, you know, like, I'm gonna see the light part of this. I'm gonna see how this is adding to my life. I'm gonna see how I can best use the situation versus really focusing on how much of it isn't what you wanted. But also just general, because I also feel like that message around taking a job that isn't really what you want, I feel like it's very specific. For those that does not resonate with, I also feel like this message is just about needing to remember to find the light even within the darkness. So even though you're really struggling, trying to find, I hate saying that, like, trying to find the positive light, the positive version of it, but I just feel like it's going to reground you. I think that focusing so much on, like, the obstacle and how alone you feel, like, it's just keeping you, like, down and heavy energetically. And they're like, if you want to feel a little bit more lifted, just try to work with what you have, and remember that we're here, and remember that you come from a line of resilience. You come from a line of people that can move and do the things they needed to do for survival. So I pulled 3 cards from the Moonology deck. The first card you got was Work Through Your Fears. New Moon in Scorpio, which we just had. And then Show the World the Real You, Full Moon in Aquarius. And then The Answers You Need Are Coming. So I definitely feel like the fear that you're feeling, let me just sit with this a little bit, because I think there's like a few different messages coming through. I think a huge fear that some of y'all are going through is it's almost like you won't get to where you want to be. Again, like, I'm being pulled towards the message of someone who's needing to make a choice that's temporary but isn't fully in alignment with what they want to do. I think the fear there is like as if you won't be able to do what it is you want to do. I also think that there's a fear just around of loneliness, a fear as if you can't trust yourself, as if you can't trust in the power and your ability to get you out of what you're going through. I also feel a fear around just finances. Like, fear around finances is real as hell. And, like, you know, it's not something, how do I say this? It's not that, like, what I'm picking up on is, like, fear around money is just something that's gonna come up living in the world that we're living in. And while 100% real, and it is not easy to like release fear around that when you're struggling, they want you to just, they don't want you to like move from that place, right? Like they don't, there's just this energy of you can still make choices for your survival. That doesn't mean you're in survival mode. Does that make sense? Because survival mode is all about making fear-based choices. So I think for some of y'all, again, the ones that are like having to make a choice around their finances that is temporary, they're like, you're not making a scarcity choice by choosing to take a job that you know is temporary, because you're not settling, right? Like you've already been trying to find a higher paying job. You've already been trying to find a better situation, or a situation that's going to really serve you. You've already been doing it, right? And so having to make a choice that's the best choice out of the choices you have is not necessarily being in survival mode or scarcity. It's becomes scarcity and survival mode when you take whatever is thrown your way without thinking about your future and how it's going to add to your life. I hope that makes sense. And I think some of you are having this fear around like, if I do this job, if I take this temporary thing, is that gonna stop me from living my dream? Does that mean that I've given up my dream? Does that mean that I'm like never gonna succeed or whatever? Like, we live in a society where not everybody's rich. And so you have to make choices and you have to put yourself in temporary situations that may not be fully in alignment, and that it is to help you survive. But it doesn't mean that that choice in itself is you moving from a place of scarcity, you know? Because you're not doing it like, this is it, right? Like, I'm just gonna be a barista. If you want to be a barista, that's totally fine. Like, that's, you know, there's no judgment there at all. I think being a barista pays the bills, and it could be a very joyful, happy job, right? But for those who are like trying to get their own business, trying to whatever, be an entrepreneur in whatever way, or, you know, go to higher education, whatever it is, for those who are trying to get to like more advanced situation. I hope this doesn't sound judgmental, but like, because I don't mean it like that at all. So I hope that's coming across clear. But I just feel like for those who are trying to, you know, go up, right, and go to a goal that is just a little bit further away from where they're at now, making temporary choices today in order to help you get to where you want to go is not you moving in scarcity, and it's not you moving in survival mode. Moving in survival mode and scarcity is about making fear-based choices and about staying there, and you're not doing that. And I think that that's the energy you have to move through. And that's kind of what I'm feeling for the whole collective in Power One, right? Is recognizing what scarcity and survival actually feels like versus how abundance you can still be in a state of abundance and still have to make choices for your survival. I hope that makes sense. Then the other two cards show the world of real you. The answers you need are coming. I think that those are really self-explanatory, but I feel like, you know, for those who are trying to, like, I just feel like this pile, there are people who are, you're working, you're in the state of working, you're in the state of building, you're in the state of finalizing, like you're still building. The building hasn't been built yet. You're still laying the groundwork, you're still learning. And I just feel like, you know, there's like two things, right? Survival, just trying to pay your bill, survival, trying to build this empire, whatever it is that you want. There's those two sides. They could both exist at the same time. And I think for show yourself and show the world of real you and the answers are coming, I think it's two parts. You needing to be very real about your situation, regrounding yourself in like the truth of the situation, and then showing yourself the real you also about putting your dreams out there, really truly believing that they are possible. And then the last part is knowing that as you're doing, the answers are going to come to you. And like, I'm going back to the first message that I said, I feel like your ancestors have been there and have been giving you messages. I think some of y'all have been a little bit stubborn around what you want your goals to look like, what you want your path to look like. And Spirit is just like, listen, we working with what we got, okay? And you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. But right now we building. We're setting the foundation. We working. We're learning. We're, taking the time and moving through the process. The process is just as important as the destination, is what I'm hearing. So really, to wrap up this reading from your ancestors, is I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that the ancestor that is working with you the most are elevated ancestors that you may not even have the name of, and that while you're going through challenges and obstacles, they are working with you. They're working in the background. They want you to remember who you are and not to forget that you're a resilient being. They want you to remember that you can always find the light within the darkness. And they want you to remember that whatever choices you have to make for survival, it doesn't mean that you're working from a survival or scarcity place. You can still be working from an energy of abundance and still make choices that are going to aid you in the right now and aid you in the future. So that's what I have to say for you, Pile 1. I hope that this reading really lifted you up, gave you something to think about, gave you some grounding, because that's my intention here, is that I want you to feel like I could keep going. Like, this is what my ancestors told me, I could keep going. Fall and winter time is not an easy time. I know for me, I wouldn't say that I have seasonal depression because I have not been diagnosed with that, but I know fall and winter time, I get sad. Like, I get sad, I get depressed, I get a little less motivated. And I hope that this message kind of lifts you up through that if you're feeling that, and just keeps you motivated and keeps you grounded. So I send you so much love, and thank you so much for watching this reading. Please comment, like, below if you really enjoyed this, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet. Bye. Hey Pal 2, welcome to your pick a card reading. So like I said in the beginning, this reading is about getting messages, uplifting messages from your ancestors. And before we get started, I want to just ground us in the fact that I'm channeling for a lot of people. Please take what resonates. Readings online should be used to kind of affirm the things that you already know, uncover the things that you already know, and should help add and aid you in life. So take whatever messages here. Take whatever messages that come up that are going to add to your life. Take the messages that feel good to you. If there's any message that doesn't resonate or does not feel good, you do not need to claim it. So let's jump right in. So I already pulled a card that's going to signify and kind of like ground us in who this ancestor is that we are speaking to. I feel like just off the back, I already felt like this is definitely an old school matriarch in your family, somebody who held a lot of power, somebody who held a lot of wisdom, somebody who just held it down is what I'm hearing. Like, just really held it down. People really depended on them. I'm definitely getting like, feminine elder energy, but you use your own intuition to see who you think is speaking. So the card we got is Sacred Wisdom, and that is exactly what I'm feeling. It's just somebody who really has a lot of wisdom, and you can call on this person to extract wisdom, to channel wisdom about what it is that you want to do in life, or what it is that you need to do in life. So I already pulled oracle cards. I'm going to start off with the Sacred Oracle deck, the Sacred Tarot Oracle deck. And the card you got was Obstacle and Challenges. Same card as the first pile. You got Emotional Loss, and then you got Light. And so Obstacles and Challenges is just letting me know that there's, you've definitely kind of been going through it. With Emotional Loss, looking at that card, I feel like some of y'all have been going through heartbreak, or are processing a heartbreak, or are processing something that you've lost. I'm being told that to keep it like very broad, because I think some of y'all have left a relationship, but I also think that some of y'all are mourning more than just a connection you had with someone. I feel like some of y'all are mourning, not even probably, some of y'all are mourning even a dream, letting go of a dream, letting go of a lifestyle, letting go of a way you used to be, letting go of an old version of you. But definitely there is grieving, there is mourning, there is letting go that has happened. And that's causing some tension and conflict in your life. And with the light card, it's, what I'm seeing is almost like whatever that happened was divinely orchestrated. Like I'm seeing light being shown on the situation, like light coming down. You know how like you see those biblical pictures or whatever, and it's like light coming down from the skies. This image very much gives that, but also it's like I'm being shown that like it revealed something needed to be revealed, something needed to be, like light was shown into this darkness so that you can move forward. And light card is all about having hope and belief and trust. And so I definitely feel like your first message is, your ancestors really saying like, I know that it's been really, really hard, whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're going through, but they want to kind of offer you some wisdom in the fact that like, even though it was so hard, something about it had to happen. And I want y'all to, that message may not feel good to everybody. So again, just if it does not feel good to you to hear that, do not claim it. But I think that there are people in this pile that really need to hear that it happened for a reason. And that in some ways it was some form of protection, and in some ways it was, it was a reflection of the evolution that you've been going through. Because I think that some of y'all, that emotional loss is about letting go of someone, of who you used to be. I just keep being shown like the past. So I really think like this is about, having to say goodbye to the past, someone, something, place, a version of you, but needing to move on. And whether you know it consciously or subconsciously, there is some sort of pain, and like this new phase you're walking into just feels uncomfortable, no matter how bright and light and hopeful the future looks. It just feels uncomfortable, and they want you to know that they're there with you and that you're not alone. And also, I've said this in pile 1, but I'm going to say this in all the piles, is that your ancestors, the people you can turn to, are elevated people, elevated spirits that once walked this earth. And there are people you can ask of to give you that wisdom. And for y'all got sacred wisdom card to embody who the ancestor is that is showing up for you today. And I feel like there are ancestors that you have not tapped into. Maybe you don't even know their name. But there's an ancestor that walks beside you that has a lot of wisdom. And I think like when we're going through life circumstances that are new or that are just really tough, you can channel them, call on them to give you a message of wisdom so that you can find healing and closure in what you're going through. So that's what I'm really feeling for those 3 cards. But I did pull 3 other cards. This is from the Moonology Oracle deck. And the cards you got was, your hard work is paying off, bring love into the situation, and you are good enough. And I'm just going to sit here and just sit with this message, because I feel like with this pile, what I'm feeling for y'all is this almost like you feel like you haven't done enough, or like somehow you're responsible for whatever loss you're experiencing, or like somehow, like I just feel like you're taking responsibility where you're not meant to. I feel like you're taking responsibility where you're not meant to. Like, I think that even if it's literally just saying goodbye to an old version of you and feeling the grief of that, I don't know, I feel like some of y'all feel shame of who you used to be, and almost like it was your fault for who you were, what you did, and how you acted and reacted. And yeah, like I'm just getting this overwhelming message of you're taking responsibility where you're not meant to, and it's time for you to put that baggage down, because I'm seeing someone like carrying a hiking bag and needing to put it down and needing to continue on the path without it. So for y'all, it's very much like you've done enough, you've been doing enough, all that you've done is paying off. And I think with bring your love into the situation, this is about bringing more gentleness to yourself, bringing more love to yourself, bringing more light into the situation, right? And reminding yourself that you are good enough, that you have done enough, and that, you know, there's not more you need to add to the situation. There's not more you need to do. So your final card is, my outer experiences are a reflection of my internal condition. And what I'm picking up with that card is, I think, you know, I'm being reminded of a workshop I did for my Patreon members on tarot cards. And in the workshop, I forgot which card it was, but it was speaking about how, you know, I forgot what card it was, but it was speaking of any goodness that we feel inside is not for you to feel guilty or to feel shame around it, but that whatever goodness you feel inside is a reflection of the goodness that does exist in the world. And I feel two messages for you. I think that one part of it, like one part of y'all, or even all of you, right, is feeling some sort of guilt about entering this new chapter that is adding to your life and bringing goodness. And then I feel like the other part of you, because of some of that guilt and shame, you're always seeking out and looking for the bad things, right? Like what's not working, what isn't good, what isn't there yet. And I think that there is some work for y'all around trying to help yourself just find gratitude in the moment, instead of finding, I'm trying to say this more gentle, but like the words are just not coming out, but it's like, I just see that some of y'all are so used to things not being right and things not being good, that you've done it for so long that now every day you find things to complain about. And spirit and your ancestors really telling you, like, the more you can find gratitude in the everyday moment, the better you'll feel about yourself inside. The more you can find, you know, like just having pride and celebrating how far you've come and how much work you've put into what you're doing, because your hard work is paying off. But I think the more you can acknowledge that, the more pride you can feel in yourself, the more love you can feel in yourself, the easier it is for you to be gentler with yourself, the more that your external world and your internal world will then reflect that. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, there is something about like how you're perceiving the world, and how that same perception, like that same perception you have on the world is also the same perception you have on yourself. And once you're able to shift those things, whether you start shifting it in how you look at yourself, or you start shifting it in how you look at the world, then the world will look differently, and the way you see yourself will look differently. And that's really the wisdom that your ancestors wants to give you. It's like, hi, there's so much more that you offer. There's so much more the world offers. And the more that you can remind yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit of that, the more that you will find that will, that motivation, and that healing. Because they just want to remind you that you are good enough, that you are worthy of the good things, that you are worthy of great things in your life, and that you don't need to settle, and that you don't need to constantly find the bad things, because we know that that's what you're used to. But you're not going to be used to it anymore, and they're here and trying to guide you and bring you more joy and bring you the things that you want. It's just learning to open your arms to it and open your eyes to it. Having that balance, right? Because we don't want to be like bypassing the bad shit in our life, but we also don't want to only see that. And I think that's really the message for y'all. It's remembering that, you know, there's still goodness in your life, no matter how hard the obstacles are, and that you know, they're still here for you, and maybe even calling on them again. Like I said, this ancestor has a lot of wisdom to offer you. If you can even call on them to give you a sign of some of the goodness that does surround you. So that's your message for today. I hope it offered you an uplifting message. I hope it gave you something to feel good about, something for you to think about. And I send you so much love and thank you for watching this video. Please comment below, like, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe so that you can continue receiving these messages. Bye. Hey Pal 3, welcome to your reading. So for this reading, like I said in the beginning, I'm channeling an uplifting message from your ancestors. But before I begin, I just want to ground us in the fact that, you know, I'm channeling for a lot of people. Readings that you get online should always be a space where it is affirming the things you already know about yourself. It is affirming the things that uplift you. It is affirming the things that add to your life. So anything that comes up in this reading, if it does not resonate, you do not need to claim. If it does not feel good to you, you do not need to claim. And so I just want to ground this there before we begin. So the first card I have for y'all is, who is the ancestor that's coming through? So y'all got Tree of Life. And really what I feel for this card, I feel like this is an ancestor that's like thousands and thousands of years ago. This is not an ancestor you have the name of. This is an ancestor that has chosen to work with you. A spirit that has, like, I'm being shown that like rose to the occasion, like rose to stand beside you when you were born. An ancestor that has a lot of wisdom, and I've been getting that for the past 2 piles too. So if you listen to more than one, you're probably going to hear the same thing. A lot of the ancestors that are coming through are not ancestors that just passed, you know, in the past like decade, or even in the past like 3 generations. Like it's deeper than that. They're ancestors that are like, I've been through it. I've been through this many lifetimes, and I'm here to offer the deepest, the most real protection and guidance for you. So I think that this is also a reminder that if you're doing ancestor work, that a lot of the ancestors that are standing beside you are not ancestors you're going to necessarily know the face of or the name of. And that's okay. So I pulled 3 cards from my Psychic Oracle deck. So let's see what those cards are. So the first card you got was Material Harvest, Prosperity Begins, Accelerated Motion. So I don't know if y'all have been like worried about money at all. I feel like money is coming up as a theme because this is the 3rd pile. And this is the 3rd time I'm talking about it. So I don't know if like, I think collectively right now we're all kind of like really anxious about money and our finances, or just like anxious about our material wealth like in the future. Because they're also showing me, like they're showing me back to the tree, and it like being you trying to create financial stability for generations to come. So 2 messages are coming through. So definitely if you're someone that's like, I'm good right now financially, but maybe you're worried about how money's going to look for the future generations to come. You want to set them up right. Y'all are going to be good. And I think that when that generational wealth or the big wealth that you're looking to create, when it comes, it's going to come through quickly. I'm also seeing an image of like sitting back and letting things come. So I think for this pile, I think whatever anxiety you've been feeling, whether that's currently in the moment or just thinking about your future, your kids and like your grandkids, whatever it is, I think that y'all need to take a step back, at least for right now. Take a step back to enjoy. I'm also saying to enjoy the wealth that you do have. I'm also saying to have gratitude for the things that you do have. I don't feel like this is a group that really struggles. And if you are struggling right now, I really want you to be grounded in the fact that I feel like that's just not what you're meant to be doing. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, yeah, like there's something very stable and sturdy about like your background, your ancestors. I don't, like, you come from a line of people that maybe were hustlers, but just were people that didn't, like, didn't sit back. Yeah, like, didn't sit back and just not try to improve their circumstances or not do something about what's going on. I hope that makes sense, but I'm just saying, like, you come from a line of people that were doers, and I think for this lifetime, while you should do and, like, reach your goals, whatever it is, I do feel like there is a pressure you're feeling that you can release. Because I think, like, what I'm seeing right now is, like, your ancestors working in the background, putting things together. I don't feel like you have to carry the burden and that urgency as much as maybe your ancestors did in the past, because I'm just seeing them put your hand, like somebody putting their hand on a shoulder and being like, don't worry, I got this, like, don't worry, I'm doing it. You're carrying a responsibility. It's not even a responsibility, but it's just like this pressure. I just feel like this pressure, like you have a pressure on yourself to be like uber successful in a monetary way. And I think that they want you to reevaluate what success can look like for you in the generations to come, redefining that. Because when it comes to money, I think that one of it is embodying the fact that, like, you are going to have money, that you're going to be all right. And the other part of it is, yeah, like, they just don't want you to have that be the center of why you do things. They don't want that to be the core of why you do things. They want you to embody joy, embody wealth in a way that's not like this hustle, stress type of energy. Which, if I were to hear this message, I would be like, no, fuck you. Like, I'm going to work for what I got. But really, like, take it how you want to take it. But I really feel like y'all are stressing about that generational wealth, stressing about your current money situation. And they're kind of saying that things would be easier if you just released your grip. Things would be easier if you just, instead of like trying to force a certain path, if you just could let us do our job, is what I'm hearing. But your money's gonna grow, and you got 2 trees, so definitely like growth is the theme for y'all. And the message I want to tell you, like, things are growing. Like, you just need to sit back, watch, and harvest what comes up, and things are coming quickly. I pulled cards from the Moonology Oracle deck, and you got work through your fears, your hard work is paying off, and emotions are running high. So I think that, like, this kind of like anxiety and urgency you feel about money, like, is triggering. Like, when I look at emotions are running high, I just think of like there is this kind of generational anxiety around it, which is why I just feel this overwhelming message of like, y'all are not meant to worry about it the way y'all are worrying about it. Like, almost like that's a generational trauma that's been passed down. And I think that in this lifetime, you're not meant to have that same anxiety. So I think for this pile, really think about your relationship with money. Think about your parents' relationship with money, your grandparents' relationship with money, if you know them, your great-grandparents' relationship with money, and see what cycles and patterns have repeated. And not, like, there's certain cycles and patterns that repeat themselves because of society, but I think also just energetically and emotionally, and thinking about how you can break that. Because what I'm hearing is this is about the emotional ties versus the actual versus the actual thing, if that makes sense. Like, this is not about you needing to work hard to get money. This is about you building a better relationship with money. I hope that makes sense. But it's like, it's kind of the same thing that I said for pile 1 around scarcity and like making decisions. Literally kind of the same thing. I said in pile 1 that you can make decisions that help in your current survival that's going to add to your future. That's not about scarcity. Just because you're making decisions to survive doesn't mean that you have to be in survival mode, if that makes sense. Because when you're in survival mode, you're making decisions out of fear. And that's like what I feel like for y'all, it's just figuring out that emotional relationship so you're not making decisions out of fear. So that when you have to make choices that are about your survival, you're not scared about it and you're not settling there. Because you, like, it's weird for me to say, but they're just like, you don't have to worry about money. Like, it's gonna come. We need you to believe that. Like, it's just causing so much anxiety, but like, you've been working hard. Like, the money is gonna come. We just need you to like release that fear. So let's see your final card. You got, when I accept the love of the universe as my primary teacher. There you go. When I accept the love of the universe as my primary teacher, I will always be guided back to the light. And I feel like in the yellows, you know, is very giving me like abundance type of energy. I feel like for y'all, your ancestors are just like, you need to truly believe that we have your back and that we're making it work and we're bringing to you the things that you want. You just have to really embody it and believe it and it will come. But I think like when you're stuck in your head and stuck in your emotions about like needing to force abundance to come, needing to force things to happen, then that's when things move slower. That's when you're like wrapped up in your head, you're stressed, and that's when fear takes over. And they don't want you to be in fear. So I think my pile, and I just looked at the time, and it, like the time of how long this recording was, and it was 11:11. And 11:11 to me is like make a wish. So I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like 11:11, make a wish. They want to grant your wishes. You just have to sit back and receive. All right, pile 3. I hope this message resonates. I hope this message uplifted you. I send you so much love. Thank you so much for watching this reading. And if it resonated, if you like it, please like and comment below. Let me know how you felt about it. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. I send you so much love and have a beautiful day. This for pile 3. And this just came up as I'm setting up for pile 4. Your ancestor said, I don't know why you think that we're not here to help you, or I don't know why you think that we're not making moves for you. You didn't come here alone. We came here to give you all the things that you want. So take it what you need to take it, but that's what they said. So I already know that this message is about to be different than all of them, than the other 3 piles, because you have 2 cards. So before I get into the cards, I want to say that I want to ground this in the fact that, you know, readings that you receive online, they are for a general collective. So some messages that come up are not going to be entirely for you. You want to enter readings letting it affirm the things you already know. You want to enter readings letting it be something that's going to add to your life, that's going to uplift your life, and not something that's going to take away from you. So if at any point in this reading I say something that you do not resonate with, or it just doesn't feel good to you, you do not need to claim it. What doesn't feel good to you may actually be beneficial for somebody else, and I want you to ground yourself in that. So first, the 2 cards that I pulled, these cards represent who is the ancestor that's showing up. So y'all got medicine and y'all got boundaries. And for medicine, I want you to, you know, I know it has like an indigenous person. It doesn't necessarily need to mean that the ancestor that's speaking through me right now is somebody that is indigenous, but really an ancestor that offered medicine to the generations that came after them. That's what I'm hearing. It's someone who healed, someone who healed themselves, and, you know, whatever point of your like ancestral, it's someone who has healed themselves many generations before that is now here beside you, helping to guide you. I also feel like this ancestor is showing up through this card as a way of And this is the only, I'm telling you, this pile is going to be different than the other ones. This pile, like, they're saying that, yeah, like, I offered medicine to our generation, but, like, I lived through you, and you're also offering medicine to the generation. And the second card I got was boundaries. And I don't even want to touch on the boundaries card, but I'm going to just have it here because I just know it's related to the other messages. But really what I want us to first ground ourselves in is medicine. Like, this ancestor is someone who offered medicine to the generations that came after. It's someone you can channel and tap into. And there's just a deeper connection there. I don't want to say that, like, this is a past version of you, but that's really what I'm feeling. Like, this is a past version of you. Like, you've returned to this lineage to help heal this lineage. Yeah, different, very different than the other decks, the other piles. So I pulled other oracle cards. Let me see how I'm gonna make this work. Okay, I pulled other oracle decks from my Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. You have movement, choices, decisions. You have solitude, and you have rest and rejuvenate. So yeah, you need to set boundaries with people. Particularly, I'm feeling like family. I also feel like you're at a place in your life where, like, when I'm seeing these three cards together, it's like, it's okay to choose you. It's okay to separate yourself. It's okay to go into isolation to study. It's okay to go into isolation to rest and heal yourself. I feel like while you are someone that's going to offer a lot of healing to your lineage, I feel like the healing first needs to start with you, and that you need to make the choice to commit to your own healing. And I see this not just mental health, spiritual, and body. It's like all three of them. Like, you need to commit to your mental health, your spiritual health, and your physical health. I feel like you're someone who's always giving and always, like, giving and just putting a lot into other people, and you haven't made the choice and commitment to put into yourself. And so your ancestor right now is saying it's okay to choose you. It's okay to set those boundaries. It's okay to dedicate yourself to you. It's almost like you need to. It's not even about, like, it's okay. Like, no, you need to dedicate yourself to you. You need to honor you. You need to take care of you. That's going to bring the most healing actually to yourself, your lineage, than anything else. So that feels uplifting to me. It may not feel uplifting to you, but I think it's just affirming that this moment, this time, whenever you're seeing this reading, that this moment is a time for you to focus on you. And then you focusing on you, you healing on you, that's healing the generations before and after you. So I pulled 3 cards from the Moonology deck. So you got a personal issue reaches resolution, balance, spirituality, and practicality. And then your dreams need a practical plan. And all 3 of your cards are the full moon. So you got full moon in Cancer, full moon in Pisces, full moon in Taurus. So whether you're Cancer, rising moon or sun, Pisces, sun, moon, rising, or Taurus, sun, moon, rising, really take that as like a way of affirming like who this message is for. But also full moons are about release, or about letting go, or about changing. And yeah, it's changing. And also, like, I'm seeing what they're showing me is like, you know, the moon, once it goes full, it goes to a new moon. Like, it grows into the darkness. It grows, like, it goes into itself. I know that's not what the moon is doing, but that's just what they're showing me right now, is like going into yourself. Like, maybe you've been shining, maybe you've been reacting or acting a lot, and they're like, right now is the time for you to go close into yourself, go into yourself. I feel like this is, you know, I want to start off here first. I feel like when it comes to your dreams, your goals, what it is you want to offer to the world, there is a lot more studying and learning and internal healing and just exploring that you need to do. And that's not a bad thing. Like, that's not a, you know, a negative. That's not a negative. It's just like what they're showing me right now is like a path, and it being full of light. And that's really them saying that the journey, the process is so much more exciting than the final destination. But in you planning and going into isolation, going into solitude, going into this rest state, the state of learning, the state of exploring, the path will become more clear. And then you could really have a plan. Because I think right now, even the goal that you might have in mind, like there's still missing pieces is what I'm seeing. I think that it is bigger. I think that there's more you need to know about yourself, more to explore and discover about yourself. And that's exciting. Like, you know, it's not always a bad thing that there's more for you to know. It's not a bad thing that there's more for you to know about yourself. I think that there are gifts you still need to uncover. I think that there are talents that still need to be uncovered. And the only way that that's going to be uncovered is by you exploring you. I definitely am getting a message right now of like, y'all sometimes can get distracted in other people's business, or like y'all lose yourself in other people's lives. And they want you to really dedicate and recommit yourself to your own life, which is why the boundaries card really stood out to me when I was shuffling that first deck, because I feel like there's a boundary, like an energetic boundary you need to set between you and those around you. And with balance, spirituality, and practicality, this is really about, again, like you needing to get more into that spiritual side. You needing to get more of that solitude, get more of that studying, get more of that exploring, knowing yourself on a bigger level. I think that you've only uncovered like the surface of who you are, and there's more for you to know. And don't rush to discover it all. It's almost like your journey here has been to get those little pieces, and to like get that excitement. Because I think that the other thing I'm picking up on from your ancestor is, I think that there's a part of self-love that needs to be uncovered, a part of self-love that needs to be worked on a little bit. Because I think that you run away from learning about yourself because you don't think you're worthy of that exploration. And they want you to know that you are. Like, you know, even as I'm channeling right now, I just feel this excitement of like, I even want to get to know you. Like, who are you? I want to get to know you. You, like, they want you to have that same excitement of like getting to know your ancestors, getting to know your past, getting to know all of who you are. They're like, have that same excitement, because like it's an honor to be you. Like, it is an honor to know you. And like really trying to see and embody that type of energy of like, what an honor it is to discover your astrology. What an honor it is to discover your human design. How exciting is it that you're this person? That's the energy I'm feeling. And that's where the spiritual part comes in. What they want you to feel, what they want you to heal through, what they want you to discover for yourself. A personal issue reaches resolution. I feel like that's very specific and also very clear. I think whatever issue that you're having, whether that's with yourself, with others, with work, whatever, it's going to get resolved. But what they really wanted to come through today to speak on is just, they're so excited to be there with you. They're so excited to see your journey, and they want you to feel just as excited and feel the same honor they have in seeing that, you know? So your final message is, oneness is my true nature. And this, like, even as I said that last piece of like your ancestors being super excited to get to know you, what came through again was like, some of y'all, this ancestor is really like your higher self, and like a past lifetime, like a lifetime they had, like a lifetime you had. But you know, time is an illusion. Like it does not work linear. It's like whatever lifetime they're coming from, they're here to tell you, yeah, like you have this innate medicine, this innate wisdom, and they want you to discover that. They want you to discover who they are. Like, they want you to discover who you are. So yeah, that's all I have to say. And like the nature, and then looking at this card, really like this fall and winter, You know, I know it's cold in some places, but I really am just getting this message of like, try plant medicine, connect with nature, connect with Mother Earth, try some herbs. Just learn that you have a connection to nature. Everybody does, but like for you, for real, you have an innate connection to nature, and they don't want you to feel separated from it. And somehow that relationship you build is also going to open the doors to understanding the relationship you should have with yourself. So that's all I have for y'all. I really hope that this was an uplifting message, that it gave you everything you needed to hear and wanted to hear. I send you so much love, and thank you so much for watching this. Let me know in the comments below if this message resonates. Like if you like this video, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I will be posting more frequently, so stay tuned for that. Sending you so much love. I hope you have a beautiful day.